Welcome back to the RickCast. In a sea of vapid and annoying podcasts, you might be watching another one. It is February 2nd, 2025, in the year of our Lord. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, to join me for episode 43. That's right, 43. I was running up the stairs. That's why I'm out of breath, because I'm kind of a fat guy. So give me a second while I catch up. But I got a great show lined up for you on this Tuesday night. FBI involved in the J6th proceedings. Unbelievable amount of corruption in the FBI. Now you got the FBI and the DOJ going back and forth. So you're seeing the, I said the 4th. I say the 5th. I don't know. It's February 4th, 2024. 2020. See, when you guys start doing that, you mess me up. Stop it. If I make a mistake, just leave it be, please. It's February 4th, 2025. Thank you guys for joining me. And we have and see, now I'm all off my game for something simple as a date. Okay? Just please don't. FBI and J6. There's some involvement there. We're going to get into it. Doge has been doxxed, and now there's death threats coming out after them because apparently the deep state does not like it. When I'll shut this damn thing off right now, guys. You know what I mean? Seriously. I don't get paid for it, and I'm just doing this for my own good. So if I don't feel like it's my own good, I'll just shut this thing off and head out. Just understand that. Love y'all, but sometimes ain't in the mood for it. So let's see. We also got Waffle House price increasing. And then you got the Fantastic Four trailer as well dropping. So if you like what we're doing, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Also, if you're on X, you can hit the follow button and help the show grow. And if you're on Rumble, I see you got 6 guys over there on Rumble. I hope you guys are having a great night. My Rumble people are fine. Look at my Rumble people. They are just beautiful, wonderful people. Look at them. They're just gorgeous. I think it's scientifically proven that Rumble people are more attractive than YouTube people. But I don't know. That might be pseudoscience. We'll see. So let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. First off, and as far as X people are fantastic. They're just great. The people who watch on the X, I've heard they're amazing people as well. So let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. We have a one hot take, a one, and that is Trump meeting with Netanyahu. Now, there's not a lot there. It's a lot of the same boastfulness and Trumpism. And of course, you're getting a lot of people like Nick Fuentes and others who are freaking out about the fact that Trump is kowtowing to Israel and the certain people run the world and all this other kind of nonsense. And it's just one of those things that is kind of generally annoying, like the YouTube chat. And so what we're seeing is a typical Trump performance, where you have Trump talking, Netanyahu's there, not really much else going on. Now, this is pretty much your highlight from it. There's really, I think Trump has pulled out of the World Health Organization. He signed an executive order there, and then he had this little gem to drop on us in as well.
Prime Minister Netanyahu, we've heard Joe Biden and Donald Trump take credit for the hostage and ceasefire deal. Who do you think deserves more credit?
I think President Trump added great force and powerful leadership to this effort. I appreciate it. He sent a very good emissary. He's helped it along. And, I'll just tell you, I'm happy that they're here.
So people are, of course, the Trump sycophants on Twitter. X. Boom, look at Netanyahu. He's so glad Trump's back in the White House. What the hell do you think Netanyahu's going to say? What do you think he's going to say? Well, I wish Joe Biden was here. These people put Trump on a pedestal. They worship the guy. They make him seem like He's something more than just a human being. He is just a human being. And Netanyahu is going to play politician. And Netanyahu is going to completely play to that part here. And so you guys have to realize that and just stop with the Trump worship, because the Trump worship on X is ridiculous. And I get it. I do get it. You do a little bit of Trump worship, and then all of a sudden you get, 75,000, 100,000 retweets. It's all engagement farming. It's all for money. I understand. It's fine. It's annoying. Let's just be completely clear about that. It is 100% annoying that X is really kind of a garbage dump now that Elon Musk has engagement farmed, and he's made it profitable, right? People make money, make tons of money if you engagement farm. And one of the easiest ways of engagement farming is, in fact, Donald Trump. Everything he does, he is the Midas, right? He's King Midas. For all of King Midas's silver. Everything he touches turns to gold. Nothing's wrong. Everything's great. And yeah, you can tell I'm a little perturbed at the Trump worship period, because it's idolatry, even from Catholics. You have some Catholics that are just 100% idolaters of Trump. And it's just, it's ridiculous. It's dumb. So there you go. That's your big thing on the Trump Netanyahu meeting. There's this other video where Trump pushes the chair in and seats Netanyahu, and everybody, of course, is freaking out. Oh, Trump is bending the knee to Netanyahu. Look at how he seats him. Whatever, dude. Really? Does it matter? Not that it does. So there it is in that regard. There's really nothing. I don't really care about Trump and Netanyahu. I really don't care about Israel, period. And there are a lot of people who will be like the Jews and all these other kinds of things, and they run the world and they do all this other kind of stuff. Right? You're seeing with things like USAID and the corruption. We're talking about that in the Doge story. And the corruption that is being used there, and the money that is being filtered out, that Israel, while it is an issue, right, with some of the influence they have and the money we go over there, and the, how some pretend to kowtow and all this other kind of stuff, there's a lot more. There is a ton more corruption and waste and other things that we have to worry about besides Israel. And yeah, I get it. Israel's annoying, and it is what it is. And the fact that every Christian and Catholic and every single Republican and a lot of Democrats, they come in, first thing they say was they're our greatest ally and blah, 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 blah. And they have to make that statement. If you don't seem to win elections. So there it is. Trump's there. Netanyahu's there. They're talking about stuff. Take of it as you will. It doesn't affect my life in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know if it affects yours any better. All right, so that's the only hot take I have tonight here on RickCast. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, for my little naysayers in YouTube. And yeah, no, I'm not, I'm going to be that guy tonight. So buckle in and enjoy. Let's get to our first story of the night. And let's see, I'm going to make myself look bad by not being able to do this right. So the biggest story that I feel of today is that we're seeing more and more of the rocks being kicked over in the government. Doge is kicking over all kinds of stones. The first one was USAID, and they're still freaking out about that. There's still a story going on about that, where you have all these people in front of the USAID building, and they are protesting, and they're talking about it's not your money, Elon, it's our money. Now they want to deport Elon Musk and all these other things. Whatever. Don't really care. They're going to do that. The fact is that both sides, the uniparty itself, loves USAID because everybody gets a piece of the pie. It is the buffet. It is the trough. Mike Church has said that the $4 trillion trough that the uniparty sits at. That's it. USAID is the trough. It is the buffet. And that's why everybody's freaking out over it. But in the meantime, you have other things. You have the fact that you had a government, and it came up when Kash Patel, which, by the way, there's new stories out about Kash Patel. He dared to make money in the private sector and not screwing over the American people, which is like the American way, right? Truth, justice, the American way, and screwing people over their money. And so, of course, they're like, oh, new financial record saying Kash Patel hasn't. So that's just one part. And the fact is, if you follow politics in any way, shape, or form, you saw the fact that the FBI, the DOJ, and in my case, as a gun guy, the ATF, but it's a different thing. The ATF is just weaponized overall. Hopefully, Trump and his team and Doge, they go after the ATF as hard as they're going after the FBI. But the FBI is turning over details of 5,000 employees who worked on the January 6th case to Trump's Justice Department as Agent Sue. It's a huge thing that's going on right now. And I had a tweet up, but of course I don't have it. So let's take a look. There's a statistic here. There is a statistic about the FBI and the amount of FBI agents that were working exclusively on January 6th. Now, I apologize for the language, but it does seem a bit important. This is from N Wokeness. The FBI revealed that 5,000 out of their 13,000 agents, 5,000 out of 13 were focused on just J6. 39% of the entire bureau. And they say they go after the bad guys and they're America's law enforcement and America's thin red line and they're protecting you and me. 39% of the FBI was focused, was weaponized against grandma, was weaponized against people who were just walking in the building, people who were on the grounds, people who were saying stuff online. They were weaponized against their own citizens, right? These quote unquote public servants. They always like to call themselves public servants. These public servants were weaponized against their own people. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. The fact of the matter is, they were being targeted. And almost, you can go out on a limb, almost 50%, you're 11% up, almost 50% of the FBI was focused on J6ers. Not illegal, not criminal alien trespassers, not terrorists, not, mass killers, none of these things. And of course, the FBI is not very happy about it. And I get it, because the deep state had hoped, and really the deep state had counted on Kamala Harris winning and the weaponization of the FBI through the DOJ, which it was Biden's DOJ before then. We say Biden because he was the guy in the chair, but it was really like Jill Biden and her merry band of chickens who were doing it, going after the American people. So 5,000 of them. So we have the FBI, and this is from CNN. CNN is actually reporting news now. It's kind of crazy. The Trump effect is real. The Trump effect is 100% real, because now you have CNN reporting. Now, ABC still, it's the Disney company, so they're going to be the last ones to even try to pretend to be any way, shape, or form neutral. Jeff Bezos in the Washington Post, he's like, hey, we got to make some money, so try not to be so psychotic. CNN's like, we're trying to get people to use our website. Let's just try not to be a psychotic. So you have that here. So the FBI officials have complied with the demands to provide the Justice Department with details of thousands of employees who worked on investigations related to the January 6th, 2021 incident at the U.S. Capitol. The demand has caused consternation, which is a nice big word that they're using, among FBI employees who fear it's meant to amass a list of personnel for possible termination. It's so funny. These people at the FBI are now worried that they're being targeted after they spent 4 years, and there's examples of it that were happening up until and a couple days past Trump's inauguration, targeting innocent Americans. Now, of course, there were people that did violent things, right? Not every person was an angel that was at the Capitol. It just is what it is. But the vast majority of people, not criminals, not violent. The lectern guy, famous guy, for walking he picked up a lectern and then he was persona non grata. Of course, it's supposed to be the people's house. Just like the White House is supposed to be the people's house. But now you can't even get on the street near the White House. The thing's all gated up and boarded up and protected. Maybe not now that Trump's there. I haven't heard about that. Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove, in a Friday memo with the subject line terminations, had given FBI officials a noon deadline of today to submit details of thousands of agents and analysts. Bove previously ordered the firing of 8 senior FBI officials, including those who oversaw cyber, national security, and criminal investigations. More than 5,000 employee details were submitted, including employee ID numbers, job titles, and their roles in the January 6 investigations, sources said, but not their names. There are more than 13,000 agents and 38,000 total FBI employees. Now we can scrub that down. Really, the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover's organization, shouldn't exist, right? Well, Rick, what happens if there's a situation where federal law is broken? You have state marshals, you have state police. They can enforce those things at a state level. They can coordinate with interstate interstate pacts and agreements. They can handle this. You don't need a federal police force to do this kind of thing. Now, of course, most Americans will be like, oh, the FBI, they protect us. Of course, and that's because of propaganda. FBI TV shows. I am just as guilty. One of my favorite shows growing up, and I just watched the season of it that last weekend, is 24. Counterterrorism Unit, CTU, Jack Bauer. We all have it. We all have a favorite cop show. I bet you have a favorite cop show. You let me know in the comment section down below what your favorite cop show, your cop propaganda show is. Mine, 24. When I was growing up, when I was in my 20s, because I didn't have, I was broken. All we could afford was basic cable. What's on basic cable? TNT, TBS, USA. What was on USA every single night? Law and Order marathons, Law and Order SVU, Law and Order Criminal Intent, which Criminal Intent, by the way, that was my favorite one. All telling you that they're the good guys, the police are the good guys, and everything all things are bad. So now that's being used, years of propaganda working, the federal government working with Hollywood to get that idea, to get that feeling out to people, has worked, because there are people who don't follow the news and they think J6 was a riot, or they think that, the cops died on J6, even though none of them did. And that, Trump tried to take over the Capitol with the 101st Redneck Brigade. Like he said, you know what? I'm going to take over the government. Let me get a bunch of grandmas and fat old guys, and we're going to take it over. Like, he didn't use the military. If he was going to really do an insurrection, you think he would have called in the U.S. military and done it, instead of using like a bunch of fat MAGA fans? No one ever really wanted to talk about that. Meanwhile, office officials dispatched by Elon Musk have been seen at the FBI headquarters. A lot of people are happy about this, because USAID was just the first. Remember, we haven't been in a full month of President Trump being in office, and you've already had one of the biggest things revealed in USAID and all the corruption and the waste and everything that happened there. Now we're going to the FBI. And of course, they're going to say secrecy, top secret, blah, 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 all this other kind of stuff. National security. It's a matter of national security. You can't see these documents. If you do, it's national security, man. You can't do that. Musk has headed up efforts by Trump and President Trump and the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency, which we're going to talk about in the next segment, how they've been doxxed already. Funny how quickly they were doxxed. And yet people are like, good. You got fat guys like Tracy. I'll find his name for the next story. He's one of these, embedded old, old thinking reporters. He hates conservatives. He hates Trump. So he's like, good, get him doxxed, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Several FBI employees on Tuesday sued the Justice Department, accusing it of violating the Constitution and privacy laws by demanding that agents complete a survey allegedly designed to purge for our English-speaking friends or those who don't want to actually watch the closed captionings like I do, Bureau personnel. The agents want a federal judge to block Trump and the administration from publishing or releasing the survey of any information. You're a public servant, homie. You're a public servant. You take a pension and you take a paycheck as a government employee. When I was a teacher, my name and my salary had to be published by Dallas ISD. I think that's still true even to this day. I mean, you can find out the salary scale of any public school employee, any of them. But now the FBI is like, oh, well, it's not fair. It's not fair if they do that. You can't do when you were doxing people and you were breaking into homes and you were perp walking Roger Stone and you were breaking in and arresting Owen Schroeder and you were going after people, innocent people who had committed no crimes. I don't like Steve Bannon, but there's no reason to put him in jail. Guy didn't commit any crimes, but it's okay to perp walk your political opponents, which is what the FBI was doing under the direction of Joe Biden's DOJ and the government overall. But now that they are in danger of being released, oh, you can't do that. It's going to put me in danger. Oh, welcome to the club, Holmes. It should be from now on, if you work for the FBI outside of like being a special undercover agent or whatever, your name should be published. You work for the FBI, you do this is how much you make. There's no reason for it. There's no reason. Now they could have like we have, if there's undercover cops and stuff like that, and fine, whatever, make a blacklist, don't care. But the majority, 38,000, was it 13,000? They said 13,000 agents. There's no reason that the remainder of these 38,000 employees shouldn't have their name, rank, and salary displayed for everybody. You want to work for the government? You want to get that sweet, sweet pension? We got to know who you are. Oh, we can't. Shut up. Don't care. None of you are Jack Bauer, right? Maybe some of the 13,000. Most of the 13,000 agents, if you see them, they're fat, overweight, or women. Sorry. And in some case, all three. And so I hope their names are published. They should have their names published. Meanwhile, officials I read that. Quote, the very act of compiling lists of persons who worked on matters that upset Donald Trump is retaliatory in nature. How can anybody read this with a straight face if you've neutrally observed what has happened over the last 4 years? The DOJ has worked on things that upset the deep state. And they tried to make examples out of American citizens over and over and over again. And now they're saying, oh, well, that's not fair. Intended to intimidate FBI agents, like FBI agents were trying to intimidate U.S. citizens and other personnel to discourage them from reporting any future malfeasance and by malfeasance and by Donald Trump and his agents. I don't think that's the right wording. I mean, I am stupid, but still, I don't think that's the right way it's supposed to be worded. The lawsuit alleges. So now the FBI, and this was with Kash Patel supposedly getting the votes to get through. Last time I checked, Tulsi is out of committee and they're going to vote on her, and RFK is out of committee and he's supposedly close to getting confirmed. I know Susan Collins is going to vote for at least RFK. But Kash, I don't know. Let me see what the status of old Kash Patel is as far as being confirmed. Kash Patel confirmation. Let's see. Nope, I don't want to see that. Let me see the latest. Nope. No, it looks like they're still holding his up. Shocking, right? Of course, this lawsuit is going to make it more difficult for people like Kash Patel to get confirmed because the deep state really is afraid after watching Doge and Trump, who should have been left alone. He should have been left alone to finish out his second term, but you guys wanted to raid Mar-a-Lago and go through Melania's underwear. This is the price you pay for it. That's it. This is simply the price you pay. So good. My opinion of RickCast, publish every single name. Publish all 5,000. If they wanted to go after grandma, if they wanted to go after U.S. citizens, when they swore to protect U.S. citizens, right? You get into the FBI so you can protect them against the criminals and the bad guys. And all of a sudden they're breaking down Roger Stone's door in full tack gear at like in the wee hours of the morning and perp walking him and his wife. Yeah, that's the guy you signed up to go get. Okay. But that's our first story of the night. As you can see, I'm fired up about it. I'm kind of fired up overall. Maybe it's these knickknacks that I'm taking. No, these things are great, dude. I love these things. You ever had these? Check them out. Knickknacks. They're nicotine lozenges. So good. So good. The grapefruit, love it. But that's not an endorsement. If Knickknack wants to sponsor the program, I'd be all for it. But that's our first story of the night. Moving on to our second story of the night here on RickCast, where we are talking about specific stuff of the day and what's going on with it. The second one is the deep state response. The deep state response to the activities of Doge. And of course, I don't know, this might be too much into the deep internet stuff, not deep internet, but kind of if you know what Reddit is, it's a social media site for leftist losers and guys who really don't have anything but too much time on their hands. And they hate Republicans and they hate Trump and they think, it's pretty much a wasteland. Reddit is. But Reddit decided that they were going to take the time to dox the people who worked at Doge and incite violence against them. And so this is from the Hindustan Times, if I said that right. Musk fires back after Reddit users call for public execution of Doge staff in violent posts. They have broken the law. Now, of course, people on the left are going, "Oh, what's the matter, Elon? You don't like the fact that somebody else is, coming after you?" Yeah, no. Calling for public executions is not cool, man. I don't really care what you think in that regard, but it's not right. And it's not supposed to be that way. Just because they're kicking rocks over and the cockroaches are running away as quickly as possible doesn't mean you get to incite violence against them. I'm trying to find this guy's Tracy post. All right. Yeah, I should have done it beforehand, but it's been a weird night. What can I say? Let's see here. Okay, I can't find him. But one of these fat old reporters was talking about how Musk shouldn't be angry that people are inciting violence against Reddit. I thought it was okay to do these kinds of things as far as looking into the nature of where our money is being spent and how we should absolutely know where it's going. And so you have a bunch of angry Redditors who are leftists by trade. I'm like a dog with a bone trying to find this thing. So now they're upset about it. And they want to come after Musk and they want to come after all the people that are working on it. And if you looked at them, there are a bunch of like 19, 20-year-old autistic kids essentially who are going after line by people who have no skin in the game when it comes to government money, right? People who aren't, where here he is, Michael Tracy. Let me show this to you. It'll be worth it, I promise. Thank you for sticking with me on RickCast while I chew the air for 15 minutes to try and find this one piece. Here he is, Michael Tracy. So to recap, and Michael Tracy does not look as good as his picture states. He is a fat, unkept loser of a man. So to recap, someone published the names of the Doge staff who currently wield extreme power dictating government policy. No, Michael. All they're doing is saying, hey, there's $47,000 for a transgender comic book in Bulgaria. Hey, we spent $1 million trying to get Sesame Street in Iraq, and then they decapitated Elmo in the first episode. That's a joke, but it wouldn't be too far away from it. They're going through and saying, how much money is going here? How much money is going there? That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right either. And so the angry Redditors decided to publish their names. Remember, this is at the same time that the FBI is complaining that their name should not be revealed. They've done crimes against the American people by making up charges, overcharging them, putting them in solitary confinement, and destroying their lives for the crime of walking up the steps of the Capitol building on January 6th. But these kids, and they are kids, they're a bunch of like 20-year-olds. They're all autistic nerds like Elon. Find this stuff, and they're just reporting like, hey, man, should there be $1.3 million for a transgender opera in China? And now they should die. And Michael Tracy, the fat loser that he is, doesn't seem to think that's a problem. And Musk declared this a criminal offense. And the DC U.S. attorney pledged to investigate. Maybe it's time for everybody to reread the First Amendment. Not when you cannot be protected when it calls for violence. I don't think Michael is as smart as he thinks he is. Because these old journalists tend to think that they're smart because they got a creative writing degree and they couldn't write a book to save their life. So they became quote unquote journalists. And so all they do is sit in their computer and they sit in their office chewing and eating ding dongs all day, pretending like they're changing the world, like they're all operating on the Watergate scandal. So these kids have been exposed, and Elon Musk is mad about it. And you know what? I'm not the biggest fan of Elon Musk. I've been accused of being an Elon Musk homer. I don't like the Neuralink. I don't like a lot of things he does. But if, right now he's fine. In this role and what he's doing, great. Let him go after him. Let him get all the things that he wants. But nobody, all right? The First Amendment includes exposing information that the American people and people of this union deserve to know, i.e., how much money is being blown out all over the world so that money can then be backfilled and into the pockets of U.S. politicians and NGO organizations. But those kids deserve to die, right, Michael? Is that the case? It's okay. It's okay when your buddies get to dox and your buddies can then call for violence and your buddies should be protected by the First Amendment. But the kid at Doge who's trying to expose wasteful spending, that kid, yeah, he should totally die. Elon Musk has shared a post that has exposed comments on a Reddit page calling for the public execution of Doge software developers. He shared this post that exposed comments on the Reddit page calling for the public execution of the Doge software developers. And I think we actually have the screenshots right here. Doge henchmen have been identified. These are all posts on this Reddit sub. And you can, it's awful, vile things that are being exposed with these young kids. But they should be publicly executed for it. The description of the page read, Muskrat, very creative, by the way. Doge's henchmen have been identified, and one comment on the page says their names drag their blanking bodies because time to drop the mitts. Now, of course, most of the people on Reddit are the people that you would know if you see them exist on Reddit. Kind of fat, kind of pale, kind of people that haven't seen a girl anywhere since high school. Another reason, I'll say it, these Nazi stooges need to be blanked. It's time to do more than drag names. It's time to drag their blanks by a large coil of blank. Reads the guy. I have to say blank or else YouTube's gonna nuke me. Maybe that's a good thing because the YouTube comment guys don't like me tonight. I love you guys. I'm just in a bad mood, as you can tell. Still love you. We fight, but it's okay. But if I say any of this stuff, YouTube will nuke me from space. The screenshots were shared by X account Reddit Lies. Sharing the post, Musk wrote, "They have broken the law." Yeah, inciting violence is not protected speech. It's never been protected speech. Never been. That's a crime. Inciting violence to it. Now, I'm sure there's some lawyer out there who will say, well, Rick, technically, if they say something and they don't do anything, then they're pretty much protected. It's only when they actually happen. Fine. You can have that legalistic argument. I'm not going to fight you on that. I would argue in this case, because of Musk's nature and the fact that doxing these kids puts them in danger. Now, if they just said anybody who works for Doge needs to be blank, 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 fine, you can say that. But once you put names to it and then you expose them, which doxing is a whole different thing, we haven't really addressed it here in these United States law-wise. We really haven't, if you think about it. Because it's just one of these things that people, they're not. What was it? The lone gunman? They all think they're the lone gunman from the FBI. And so it is it's sad. It's terrible. And it's really solidifying how much and how important what they're doing. Trump's not a savior. Trump's not the Messiah. Elon Musk is not. He's a technocrat that wants to put a chip in everybody's brain. But the exposing of this stuff has rattled the left. And they don't know what to do. So of course, typical progressives, Marxists, whatever you want to call them, are going straight to violence. Now, the page has been banned because they let it sit for a couple hours and then they're like, oh, we banned it. Sorry. It says the subreddit has been temporarily banned due to prevent prevalence of violent content. Inciting and glorifying violence or doxing are against Reddit's platform-wide rules. It'll reopen in 72 hours, which they'll just go back and doing the same thing. U.S. attorney vows to protect Elon Musk and his staff in response to the attack on Doge and Musk. Interim U.S. attorney Ed Martin vowed to protect the Tesla boss and his staff. By the way, there are people that are talking like, oh, Elon Musk lives here and he doesn't have a security detail. If you think for one moment that Elon Musk doesn't have the most expensive PMC, private military contractors around him and where he lives 24/7, you might be the dumbest person on the planet. This isn't the first time Elon's been doxxed. This is the first time Elon's life has been threatened. So don't think that he's got some of the nastiest 6'5" jack dude. He doesn't have any women on his detail. Let's just put it that way. There's not one woman that is on Elon Musk's detail. They're all Nebraska corn-fed dudes who are ready to punch a little skinny nerd. And so that's just what it is. Quote, I recognize that some of the staff at Doge have been targeted publicly. At the time, I ask you utilize me and my staff to assist in protecting Doge work and the Doge workers. Any threat, confrontation, or any other actions in any way that impacts their work may be breaking numerous laws. Because there's nothing illegal about what they're doing. There's nothing illegal about what Musk and his team are doing. You may not like it if you're a leftist, because you feel the sky is falling and Rachel Maddow's crying and her stunt double Chris Hayes doesn't know what to do because he can't cry, and they're all just freaking out. They're all just freaking out because their world as they know it is falling apart. It's absolutely crumbling. And that's fine. Yeah, that's right. These morons who are like, oh yeah, let's get Elon Musk. You ain't getting near Elon Musk. You're not getting within 100 feet if the guy doesn't want you near him. So it's, yeah, that's a very good point, Crotchety. I think Crotchety, I'm going to take your name tonight because I'm the Crotchety. I'm not old. I'm just the Crotchety short guy. No, I am in my curmudgeon form tonight. I am not Rick Barrett, the armed Catholic. I'm Rick Barrett, the curmudgeon, and I am out. Not really. So that's indeed what it is. And it's sad that it's not, I mean, it's sad because we're at this point, but is it shocking? Is it unexpected? No, not even close. The left naturally goes to violence, and that's what they've been crying out in front of USAID, screaming and hollering. You got that absolutely crazy representative from Houston, Crockett. She's screaming like, we gonna get up all in your face, Trump. It's like, honey, you ain't doing nothing. Okay. Just like Maxine Waters back in the day, when she was telling people that was an inciting violence. If you see them at a gasoline station, you get in their face. You all remember that back in the summer of love when they were inciting violence on a daily basis. And that's just what they do. And so I'm glad to see the U.S. attorney, the acting one, saying nothing's going to happen to him. We're going to keep him, because you have to. You have to push back against these people. You have to do it. Now, of course, if you had a working FBI, if you had a neutral FBI, you could actually look at them and say, go find the Redditors and put them in jail. You can't do this. And so that's the second story. I actually think it's probably the biggest story. The FBI one's pretty massive because it shows just how corrupt that institution is. But now we have this one as well, because you don't have a functioning FBI, which, by the way, I don't think you could use it. Send them out, send a bulletin out to all the state police in these areas. Tell the state police to round them up. You actually don't need the FBI. I can't believe I forgot about it. You have the U.S. Marshals. You don't need the FBI because you have the U.S. Marshals. Use the U.S. Marshals. They have them. Use them. Go get these guys. Hey, Michael, did anything big happen at the Trump press conference? I chose not to cover it, despite my social media manager saying, hey, cover the Trump press conference. And I was like, yeah, sure, I will. And then I didn't. I'm 0 for 2 tonight. Michael, let us know if anything happened at the Trump press conference. But that's our second story here, where Musk is doing, it means they're in the right direction. It means they're doing the right thing, because these people are losing their minds. And they're going to stomp and they're going to cry and they're going to do all these things to try and make people's lives miserable and try to scare them. Wait, Trump proposed long-term ownership of Gaza by the U.S.? Wow, that's mightily impressive. Not great. Not great. I don't like that idea at all. I don't like that idea at all. Not a good thing to see. Let's see if we can actually get into that. Let's see. All right, we don't need Fat Tracy anymore. Fat Michael Tracy. I don't like that guy. He is just one of these people that thinks that he's so much more important than he really is. And he's not. He's really not. This one's actually pretty funny. AOC went on a tirade about here. I think this is what you were talking about. So one of those clips where you have to make sure you're not hallucinating. Donald Trump says Palestinians ought not to be allowed to return to Gaza because why would you do that? That place has been hell, next to a grinning man who made it that way. I don't know. Let's see if we can get some audio. So see if we can play this real quick. You guys can't even see it because I haven't brought it up because I'm on a roll tonight. There it is. Let me know if you can actually hear this audio from Trump talking about
Peter. Would Palestinians have the right to return to Gaza if they left while the rebuilding was happening?
It would be my hope that we could do something really nice, really good, where they wouldn't want to return. Why would they want to return? The place has been hell. It's been one of the meanest, toughest places on earth. And right now, I've seen every picture from every angle, better than if I were there. And nobody can live there. You can't live there. So if we can build them through massive amounts of money supplied by other people, very rich nations, and they're willing to supply it. If we can build something for them in one of the countries, and it could be Jordan, and it could be Egypt, it could be other countries, and you could build 4 or 5 or 6 areas. It doesn't have to be one area, but you take certain areas and you build really good quality housing, like a beautiful town, like someplace where they can live and not die.
Trump Plaza.
Because Gaza is a guarantee that they're
build a
going to
hotel
end
there
up
and let them all
dying. The
live
same
there.
thing's going to happen again. It's happened over and over again, and it's going to happen again as sure as you're standing there, Peter. So I hope that we could do something where they wouldn't want to go back. Who would want to go back? They've experienced nothing but death and destruction.
So there's that. Let's see. Latest. Let's see if we can find something else here. That's actually pretty interesting. That's over. Trump says Palestinians have no alternative but to leave Gaza. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think that one's there as well, but you have this.
Yeah, I would like to see Jordan. I'd like to see Egypt take some look. The Gaza thing has not worked. It's never worked. And I feel very differently about Gaza than a lot of people. I think they should get a good, fresh, beautiful piece of land, and we get some people to put up the money to build it and make it nice and make it habitable and enjoyable and make it a
They
home.
don't want to leave, though. How can you say they don't want to leave?
I don't know how they could want to stay. It's the demolition site. It's a pure demolition site. If we could find the right piece of land or numerous pieces of land and build them some really nice places with plenty of money in the area, that's for sure. I think that would be a lot better than going back to Gaza, which has had just decades and decades of death.
Where would the plans be?
Well, they
Those
could be in
aircraft
Jordan,
don't
and they could be in Egypt, and they could be in other places. You could have more than 2, more than 1, but you could have
Right?
more than 2.
Steph, you think I'm joking?
And you'd
Trump
have
wants to
people
build like
living
4 or
in
5
a-
hotels, making
A
condos.
place that could be
It'll
very
be
beautiful, and safe,
Be beautiful
and nice.
land with Trump
Gaza has been a
hotels.
disaster for decades.
Would the U.S. pay for that?
I
Or
don't think
contribute?
the UN would pay, but I think there's plenty of people that would in the
I
area.
don't
that
know,
have
Mike.
a lot
That's a
of
great
money.
question.
It's-
That's a great question. How's that not nation building? I don't know, but everybody's so psyched about all this other stuff. So you could bring up the fact that Doge and all this stuff that Elon Musk is doing is almost a distraction while stuff like this happens. By the way, breaking news here. I don't like to use breaking news, but this just in: Pam Bondi has been confirmed as Attorney General. Whether you like that or not, that's up to you. I'm not a huge fan of Pam Bondi, but it is what it is. She's confirmed. I've heard some people saying she's pretty solid. I don't like her from a gun perspective because she was right next to Rick Scott pushing red flag laws, but it is what it is in that regard. Yeah, I don't know. We'll keep our eye on it and see if I'll see if I can find that clip of let me see, US own Gaza. Let's see here if we can find it. I'm sorry, but this is just ridiculous. I can't even believe he said that. Maybe here. Here it is. Oh, but
Yes, we'll take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site.
Dude's
level
reading
the
from a
site
script.
and
Who
get rid
wrote
of
that
the-
for him? That's the question. Who wrote that for him right now? This is not his idea. It's not his idea at all. He's like, somebody's like, Trump, read this. That's nuts, dude. Literally take it over. President Trump just announced the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip. That's crazy.
Destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic
By the way, she's listening. She's watching to my social media manager. Yeah, sorry, I didn't cover this.
development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, It's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. First, we'll take over the Gaza Strip.
All right, so we're gonna take over Canada, we're gonna take over Panama, we're gonna take over Greenland. That's what, 52, 53. We're gonna have like 55 states by the time he's done. This is nuts. Exactly, Mark. Not with American lives. Nobody's dying for the Gaza Strip. Not at all. Not at all. And that's, yeah. I bet you Ben Shapiro probably did write that. I can't believe this is so great. I love it. Promo code Gaza Strip. Yay. And so this is nuts. I cannot believe that he would say that. This is absolutely mind blowing that he's just like, yeah, whatever. We'll take it over. It's cool. Yep. Whatever. We're just going to own it. We're just going to own it. That's fine. Oh my goodness. This is just Shelly G on X, who had Gaza as the 51st state. So now is Trump trying to pressure the Canadians? It's either going to be you or it's either going to be Gaza. We're going to get a 51st state out of all of this. We're getting one of Greenland. Who wants it? Panama? You want it too? 50. Who else is he going to take over? Taiwan? Hey, Taiwan, you want to be a state? We're handing out stateship like it's going out of style. We're going to own Gaza. Unless it's with King Baldwin and the Crusades, and we're going to take it over and turn it into Christendom, because, you know, Bethlehem's around there. We can take that over and reestablish the kingdom of Jerusalem. I know it's not there. Give me a break, but it's close enough. We can at least, set it up there and move. But unless you want to do it that way and set it up for Christendom and reestablish a holy outpost of Catholicism in the Middle East, I ain't down for this. And if you think I'm joking, I'm not. But this is absolutely nuts. Just people in Gaza are like, what? You're gonna do what? Yeah. Steph, you are on the dot tonight. Middle East is interesting because of U.S. involvement, NATO involvement, the nation building, what happened in Syria, what's happened in Iraq, what's happened in all of these places. One thing is they battle each other, but they have one thing in common. They don't want us there. Remember when we tried to put like some kind of like little outpost island or some kind of like floating base off the coast and they shot at us 15 minutes in? Yeah, great idea. Let's put a bunch of American lives there. So it's absolutely stupid. Plus side, Gaza is supposed to have a large gas reserve off the coast. Oh, you telling me they got some oil? Looks like they might need some freedom. Nice vacation. Yeah, it's going to turn, they're going to take over Gaza and it's going to be renamed Trump land. Let's just call it like it is. It's going to call it Trump land, right? The kingdom of Trump or whatever you want to call it. It's going to have a giant Trump hotel right off the coast. Beautiful condos right off the Gaza. Look at this. Beautiful. We just had to bomb the crap out of Gaza for 6 years. Lordy, folks. This is some absolutely bonkers stuff going on right now. The Palestinians have to leave and we're going to own it. Yep. Didn't have that on my bingo card. Then you got Pam Bondi, who is now been confirmed as Attorney General. Yeesh, folks. Golly, I don't even know if I can. I mean, I'm going to talk. If anything else breaks out, I'll break back to it. But so my other two stories are not very political because I always try to keep this as 4-quadrant as possible. So we have some stuff that's happening right now in some places, and it's nuts. And see, yeah, here we go. Gaza 2030, the Trump Hotel. There it is. X is undefeated. X is a cesspool. I can't stand it a lot of the time. But some of the other time, this would have made a great thumbnail. See, they forgot to put like Trump right here. It looks pretty. Looks really nice, man. I'm a member. I have a Trump Club membership. I'm like, you get like a card. So it is one of those things. there it is, folks. Trump says he's going to take over the Gaza Strip. The USA is going to own it, and Trump's going to build some beautiful property on the actual. That last part, this is all a joke. This is like, what else can you think of this? How else are you going to be able to do this? Noah Neoberg, I'm starting to understand why Bibi Netanyahu accepted the ceasefire deal in January. Trump just said America will take over Gaza and remove all the Arabs permanently from the Strip. That is not a great sounding thing. That is not, I can't wait until Gaza gets its first McDonald's. Right? It's not holla. It is now. Don't worry about it. I wonder if they'll put beef tallow in the fries and McDonald's in the Middle East. That is crazy. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me and watching this live in real time as I completely that's another thing. What if he says he wants to get to the Arabs? What about the Christians in Palestine? Are they going to be okay? Does that include them? Where are they going to go? There's a lot of history there. That's why I'm saying if you're going to take it over, it should be for the Kingdom of Jerusalem, and we should reestablish the Catholic outpost on in Gaza. Yikes. All right. Well, I don't have anything else political to talk about here because that seems to be the big story of the day. In case you missed it, Trump has proposed that they are going to take over the Gaza Strip and they're going to displace all the Arabs out of it. So yeah, that is another thing. We would get Bethlehem. We would get Bethlehem back. It's not sounding so bad. You could convince me if the Christians get to stay and we get Bethlehem back, maybe I'm on board with it. We should call it. We should call it not anything else, but we should call it Baldwin. We'll reestablish Gaza. We'll take Gaza. We'll call it Baldwin, the state of Baldwin, in honor of King Baldwin. Yeah, because everybody loves King Baldwin, the Leopard King. Yeah, Steph, you are correct. He did one thing by siding 100% with Israel. Every U.S. troop that's in the Middle East right now, outside of Israel, is now a target. And I don't know. I don't like this move at all. All kidding aside, I don't like it. It's something that we should not be investing in and something that we should not be going into. And it's not America first. How is these United States taking over Gaza, expelling the Arabs and owning it, quote unquote, for Trump's words? How is that an America first policy? It's not an America first policy. And that's where, I foolishly said at the beginning of the show, let's call it as it is. I think we can all agree. This is an Israel first policy. Who benefits the most with the Arabs being expelled out of Gaza? Right? We can do the JD Vance look. Who is the group that benefits from that? Yeah. Why? And the National Guard should not be going to Israel. The National Guard should be going, if they're going anywhere, send them to the U.S. border. Don't send them to Israel. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's really actually kind of awful if you think about it. It's really bad news. It is bad news to hear that. And to hear Trump be so determined to do it. In case you're just joining, because we're having more people jump in right now. One more time for anybody that just joined, because we got a couple people joining us. This just happened at the press conference with Benjamin Netanyahu and President Donald Trump.
A beautiful area with homes and safety, and they can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it too. We'll own it and be responsible.
That's not on the piece of paper there, by the way. That's not. He said we would take it over, and then it was just supposed to say we'll take it over, and then Trump goes, and we'll own it, and everybody went, no, what are you doing? Just read the paper. Don't do that.
Responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site.
By the way, who was the one that put the bombs and all this stuff on the site? Now, some people were like, oh, the Palestinians did too, Rick. Okay.
Level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. I'm hopeful that this ceasefire of
All right. So there you go, folks. If you're just joining us, that's some scary stuff. That is some real scary stuff as far as what's going on with Trump off script, promising that they're going to take over and own Gaza. Not great. But that's all we got for now. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below on X or on Rumble as well. Absolutely scary stuff too, by the way. I have two stories that are not about Gaza or international affairs. And we're just gonna move on. Let's do a hard pivot to our next story of the day. Ordering eggs at the Waffle House. Here's how much more you'll be paying. Now, of course, the RickCast is a stand for a couple things. Waffle House, Hampton Inn, and Palmetto State Armory and Ruger. I'm a stand for all of those companies. Love all those companies. They're about as American as apple pie. In fact, I'm a big fan of all of these things, the Waffle House in particular. And of course, this article comes out because they're trying to pin this on Trump. As you've heard in the last 2 weeks, well, Trump's been in office for 2 weeks. How come the price of eggs haven't gone down? Trump's been in office. How come the price of food hasn't gone down? Look at this. Now you're going to have to pay more at the Waffle House because of Trump, even though it's been addressed that the economy is not a speedboat, it is an aircraft carrier, and you cannot turn it on a dime. But let's see how they're besmirching my beautiful Waffle House. Everyone's favorite roadside stop is passing along skyrocketing cost of eggs to customer via a temporary surcharge. Every customer who orders eggs at a Waffle House restaurant nationwide will pay an extra 50 cents, according to CNN. The surcharge comes among rising food prices related to avian influenza. I know. It's just a rough night for me, folks. I apologize. Inflation and avian influenza, the bird flu. So, hey, besmirching Palmetto State Armory is a bannable offense. I know I said stuff earlier, but don't you ever besmirch. I'll talk about Palmetto State Armory at the end. I want to get through this article first because I've been all over the place. The continuing egg shortage caused by the HPAI, the bird flu, has caused dramatic increase in egg prices, Waffle House said in a memo shared by The Hill. Now, of course, every time there's some kind of outbreak, if one chicken sneezes on a farm, they murder 100 million of them. So just be aware of that. Consumers and restaurants are being forced to make difficult decisions. Effective February 3rd, Waffle House has implemented a temporary 50-cent per egg surcharge. The recent epidemic started in 2022 and has killed 150 million chickens, which is why, I've actually started the process. I used to have quail until a raccoon came in and killed all my quail. This spring, I will be rebuilding my quail cage, and I'm going to add some chickens to my yard. Not many, like 3, just to start getting our own eggs. And I think if you don't have an HOA that prevents you from having chickens, I think you should have chickens. Quail are great because they're HOA friendly because they're tiny birds and their eggs are little, but you can get a bunch of them. And they're roosters because they have roosters. Quails have roosters. When they crow, it just sounds like a bird chirping. So you can have quail in your backyard and nobody will complain in the HOA because they're just birds. They're not chickens, they're birds. So that's why I'm a huge fan of people owning quail because you get quail meat, you get quail eggs. They're really low maintenance. And I'm a huge proponent of people owning quail or eggs or both if you can. Egg prices have significantly risen and shortages reported at some grocery stores in recent weeks as cases of the bird flu, quote unquote, climbed in the United States. Data from the Labor Department shows a nearly 40% increase in egg prices since January 2024, which of course they're trying to blame on Trump. Oh, well, the egg prices, Trump, you said you're going to bring them down. It's because, that's right, they're killing these chickens. Because remember back in the coof, when somebody said they had the coof, it's like, oh, I tested positive with a cotton swab. It's like, that test is not very viable, A, and B, it's wrong half the time. So it's crazy. Yeah, they test in the environment, and if there's even a hint of it, they're like, murder all of them, right? 5 million eggs and I just kill all the chickens. And so you're right, they've never done it this way before, but for some reason they're really intent on killing all of these chickens, which is why I'm trying to get my own. And if you have a yard space for it, I think you should do it as well. And if you can't, get some quail. Huge proponent of quail. The skyrocketing price has led to the theft of 100,000 eggs worth $40,000 from a central PA supplier. $40,000 in chicken eggs. Interesting. Anyway, expect more of these stories to come out because they're trying to scare you. Oh, well, the bird flu's everywhere and all of these chickens are dying and egg prices are going up. And Trump said he was going to bring prices down and they're not going down because it's obviously Trump's fault. The thing is, with quail, maybe your brother's smarter than me. Wouldn't be the first time somebody is. Quail don't have a natural defense mechanism. They're kind of stupid. I mean, they are birds. So they tend to get eaten pretty quick. But if they survive, that's great because they are, they're not as plentiful as they used to be in most areas. But they're awesome birds. Still love them. And the fact that your brother's putting them in the wild is actually really great. All right, so that's the story on the Waffle House and how it is the first of many that will try to scare you with price increases. So I'm not a prepper, quote unquote. I'm just somebody who tries to be as self-reliant as possible. I'm a big advocate of growing as much food as you can. And if you can do things like get some animals on your property, don't need a lot. Quail don't take up a lot of room. They're great for that. And you should definitely start looking into having animals if you can to kind of get around this, because the food supply in these things, it's going to get tight for a little while because they decided to kill them all. Well, quail have a rooster. They have their own version of a rooster. It's a little bit bigger, but it's not like a chicken. It's not like a rooster with chickens. They can't really do much. I know because my rooster got eaten by a snake. It just kind of is what it is. Yeah, it is. All right. I got to address this real quick. Where is it? It's going to be a 2-minute rant, and then I'm going to move on to our final story. Palmetto State Armory is the most pro Second Amendment gun company there is, bar none. They could sell their guns for a higher price. Their quality has up to par now. Used to not be when they were starting out, but the reputation they have is ill. It's not worth it. Palmetto State's mission statement is to get guns into the hand of as many U.S. citizens as possible, following Supreme Court precedent to make AR-15s and firearms common use. The more people that own them, the more it supports the Heller decision of common use. So Palmetto State makes very quality firearms. I have a couple of them. I've never had issues with them. I have a Palmetto State dagger. I have a micro dagger. I love them both. They run great. They're affordable. They're not budget guns. They're high quality, low. They're not like Hondas or anything like that. They don't have that reputation yet, but they're absolutely the most pro 2A gun company. A lot of gun companies are not pro 2A. They're just gun companies to sell stuff. You have to understand that. A lot of them are not, they don't have that culture behind them. Palmetto State Armory does. And that's why I will not take any besmirching of Palmetto State in my chat. I'll let it pass. I'll let it pass tonight, Mark, because I like you. All right, final story of the day, ladies and gentlemen. We got a trailer for the Fantastic Four, right? Marvel movie, the Fantastic Four is coming out. And the fact that Marvel desperately needs this project to work it's very important that we covered this before with the Superman trailer. The Superman trailer was vastly important for DC, and it got mixed reviews. So now the Fantastic Four is very similar because they're trying to tap into nostalgia. And you'll see that. We can't play the actual audio. Nope, don't do that. You'll see it because Disney's been nuking people from space if you do the audio. So we're just playing it in the background while I talk. First of all, Pedro Pascal looks terrible in this role. Like, he does not look like Reed Richards, the smartest man in the Marvel universe. He looks like Pedro Pascal, the loving feminist. But you have that. Not great off the top. You have the robot, which is designed to sell toys. I don't know what you guys think about the CGI here on the thing. A lot of people are saying the CGI is very bad. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's bad at all. I think I've seen a lot worse examples of CGI. Some people prefer the Michael Chiklis suit. Maybe that's a little better, but not a lot of people are a fan of how this looks. You guys get a good look at it. You can tell me in the comment section whether you think it's good or not. I don't think it's terrible. I mean, for a company like Marvel that supposedly makes billions of dollars, is it great? Not really, but the writing's okay. The atmosphere is very retro, as in they're trying to tap into something. I don't know. I didn't hate this trailer, but at the same time, Marvel has destroyed any goodwill. Now, Johnny Blaze, or no, that's Ghost Rider. Johnny Storm, his effects look good. The fire effects look really good. The Invisible Woman effects look pretty fine. They look fine for what they are. And it's just kind of, there's the fantastic car, whatever they call it. This needs to be a knockout. And then this is something that people were complaining about. Like, Galactus is supposed... I'm sorry, I'm going to nerd out here for a second. Galactus he's the size of a planet. He's the size of a planet. And people are like, I thought Galactus was supposed to be bigger. Well, compared to the Statue of Liberty, he's pretty freaking big. And for normies, they're not going to understand a planet-sized being. A gigantic being that comes from space, that's a little bit more palatable. But you actually get a physical Galactus this time instead of a bunch of clouds, unlike the first Fantastic Four movie, or the second one. So you have that. I have no problem with Galactus being super ginormous, but not the size of a planet. So there's that. And then, and then there's the big costume reveal. The costumes look kind of, I don't know. Like I said, did I hate the trailer? Not really. But it's not anything that Marvel needs. Marvel needed this thing to be a knockout, an absolute home run, but they don't have the credibility right now to do it. They burned all their goodwill with this woke nonsense that they put in. And there's a lot of people that are saying, I don't know how I feel about this, because a trailer can look fine, but at the same time, it could also be completely different than what the trailer is telling you. So it is, Michael, that's what I'm trying to get at. They have no goodwill. If they put this movie out in 2020 after Endgame, people would be just off their rocker, ready for this film. But then they had to put out the Marvels, and they had to put out the Eternals, and they had to put all the woke stuff and all the TV shows on Disney Plus, and the fact that Disney is the only company that's doubling down post-Trump winning the election. Everybody else is like, Trump won, so maybe we shouldn't go so hardcore. Disney's like, we don't care. We're going to double down on all of it, and we're going to show you that we're right. And I don't think that helps them with this. And so, obviously, and there's another thing. They made the Silver Surfer a female. And if you notice in this trailer, there's no Silver Surfer. So we're going to see. And we'll see because Snow White and the 7 diversity hires comes out in a couple months. I think in a couple months it comes out. We're going to see how bad. Oh, next month. It comes out next month. That movie is going to fall faster than a stone in a lake. But who knows? So that's the Fantastic Four trailer. I don't know. Most of the people that I trust, movie reviews, Critical Drinker, the guys at DW Pro, Jeremy Johns, they're all like, eh. And I think that's the best Marvel can get at this point. It's not universally hated, but it's not the home run that they desperately needed. And the fact that they are trying to tap into some kind of nostalgia moment, it's kind of sad. All right, folks, that's it for this episode of RickCast. I guess I'll end this show and head to bed so I won't be so crotchety tomorrow. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, do all the fun things to help the show grow. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. Everybody on X, everybody over on Rumble. Thank you guys for hanging out with me as well. Of course, YouTube chat, you guys are holding it down as always. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you all tomorrow night. Once again, I'm going to tell you, today is Tuesday. Friday, there will be no show. There will be no show Friday because I will be at a dinner for the conference that weekend. I'm driving to North Carolina on Thursday. You will get a show Thursday. It might not be at 6 p.m. Central. It might be at 7 p.m. because I'm driving to Atlanta. I'm driving to Alabama, from Texas to Alabama on the first leg, and then from Alabama to Charlotte on the second leg. So when I get into the hotel on Thursday night, I'll put some stories together and we will have a show Thursday night. Friday night, there will be no show. And then Monday will be the same thing. We'll have a show from wherever I land driving on the road. Thursday show, Friday no show, Monday show. So just giving you guys a heads up as the week heads in, so you guys at least know ahead of time. But thank you for hanging out with me on RickCast. I will see you guys tomorrow night, where we will have a good night as well. God bless, and free Dexter Taylor.